So our father Yaakov Avinu, he's been working really hard for 14 years. And he doesn't have much to show for it, at least not in the bank account. He has a family, a lot of children, Baruch Hashem. And after Rachel has her second child, her first child, Yosef, Jacob feels comfortable and confident in confronting Esau. He says, now I can do this. And that's a story in and of itself. So after that happens, he decides that it's time for him to take leave of Lavan. So he says to Lavan in chapter 30, in verse 26, give me my wives, my children. I worked really hard for this. I'm ready to go. You know how I worked for you. You know how honest I was. You know how hard I worked. Vayomer, I love Lavan. Lavan responds to Yaakov. He's very polite. You know, if it only finds favor in your eyes. Nichashti, I have divined or soothsayed. V'yivarcheni Hashem biglalecha. I know that God has blessed me on your behalf because of you. So Rashi says that the word nichashti can be understood as menachesh hoyisi. I was trying to use different means or methods to find out what really happened here. Nasisi b'nichush shali. I attempted with my nichush, which is a form of divining or using the occult. Sha'al yodcha ba li bracha. And I know that the blessings come because of you. And Rashi says on a very literal level, Kishaba salachon, when you came here, lo yahaya li vanim. I didn't have any sons. And in those days, sons was very important. Because girls couldn't really help on the farm. How do we know this? How do we know he doesn't have any sons? We only know he has daughters. I don't know he doesn't have sons. So Rashi says, very, very simple. Shenemar, it says, Vehine Rachel bite ba'a imatzayin. Rachel is coming with the sheep. I mean, was not a very nice guy, but still, who sends his daughter with the sheep if you have sons? Why didn't he send Leah? We talked about that in class a few nights ago, because Leah had swollen eyes and she couldn't be in the outdoors. She couldn't be in the sun. So there was no choice. Rachel had to go. Efshar yesh lebanim v'shalech bite eitz l'royim. He's going to send his daughters to hang out with these crude people. Achshav hoyo lebanim. But now he does have sons. How do we know? Because Shenemar, it says in the next chapter, Vayishma es divrei b'nei Lavan. He heard the words of Laban's sons. So he did have sons. Now obviously he didn't have sons before, and quite obviously he does have sons now. So on the most literal level, Yaakov Avinu sees, Lavan sees, I was blessed. But I was blessed specifically because of Yaakov. It's Yaakov's arrival that's brought me blessing. The Targum Yonasan uses the word kasomai. Kasomai is like charms. This is the same terminology that's used with Bilam, who uses the occult to divine and to kind of predict the future. The Sefarno says these were the terafim. The terafim that Rachel later takes because she wants to wean her father away from idolatry. And why did Lavan get so upset about the terafim? Just go to Idols R Us and buy yourself a new specimen. Why was he so angry? And what did Rachel think she's really going to accomplish by taking away his idols? He could just replace them. So there's a very chilling medrash that the terafim were made of babies who died, babies who miscarried, these tiny baby heads. And they were attached to gold plates. And then they would bring all kinds of incense. And in some demonic form, these baby heads would talk. So Lavan collected a number of these. And that's what it was. It's not so easy to come by. Anyway, Lavan was a spooky guy. And he had the interest and wherewithal to look into beyond what meets the eye. And he did. And he saw that everything, all the blessing comes because of Yaakov.
This guy, he was the Zaydi of our Shvatim. He was the Zaydi of the Shvatim.
He was the Zaydi of the Shvatim. That's true. And Terach was the father of Avram. What you gonna do? Besuel wasn't such a nice guy either. Huh?
Look at Mashiach's roots.
Mashiach's roots. Yeah, this is how it is.
Even Israel.
Remember, if we wouldn't have a Zaydi like Lavan, how would we fight all the anti-Semites? You got to get it from somewhere, you know. The Yevarcheni Hashem, says the Sefarno, not only I have huge flocks of sheep, but I've also been able to sell them for a very high price. So you have good merchandise and then good mazel in the negotiating table. And Lavan knows that he had mazel all around. And because he had mazel all around, everything worked out very well for him. He felt, even Lavan, felt a sense of maybe entitlement. Felt like guilty. He has to, can't just leave Yaakov. Yaakov has brought him many blessings. There has to be some kind of, what did it go, quid pro quo. Vayoymar, he doesn't want to lose Yaakov. He says, okay, let's talk about payment. Nakva secharcha alai. Why don't you tell me? Give me an idea of. So, what do you want? What kind of reward? What would make you happy? V'atena, and I will give you. I'll pay you. I'm not here. I'm not trying to rob you. I'm not trying to take advantage of you. The Targum Yedison says that the word nakva could be kiva, establish, pseik, or set down the ruling, chatoich. So cut it. So what is it? What is it that's going to make it work for you? Rashi says that the word nakva comes kitargumir, like Unkelus renders it. Poresh agrach. Why don't you specify your remuneration? Tell me what you're looking for. So it's like, say it explicitly. One of the challenges in fundraising is that normal people have a very hard time asking for money. It's not comfortable. So you like to tell stories. How about you help us with this, that, and the other thing? And really what works is, can you please give me $10,000? Average person doesn't have an easy time having those numbers roll off your lips. But that's your biggest drawback. You have to learn how to say that. Learn how to say exactly what do you want from me. Just say it. And you have to be explicit. So Lavan's like, okay, Yaakov, I need to tell me stories. I did this, I did that. So what do you want? Paresh agrach. Spell it out. Tell me clearly. Vayemer Elov. Yaakov says back to him. You see, he doesn't spell it out clearly. He says, Ata yodaita. You know, it's asher avadaticha. You know how hard I worked for you. Veis asher lo asher hoya mikdacha iti. You know how your sheep are with me. You know this. Come on, like you know this. Rashi says, what does it mean? Ve'es asher hoya mikdacha iti. What's the ve'es? What's the second part of the pasuk? So Rashi says, you know, es cheshben mi'ut miknecha. You know how few sheep you had. Shaba liyadi mitchila. You know how many sheep you gave me over. Like Rachel was watching sheep. How many? Like literally a handful of sheep. You know how many they were. And you know how many they are now. Now the Chizkuni asked the question, what's eis asher avadaticha? It's like double. You know what I worked for you. The eis asher hoya miknecha. And the sheep that you had. So what's the redundancy? So the Chizkuni says, you know what I worked for. What did Yaakov work for? For Rachel, for Leah. That's what he worked for. Like he says, you know I wasn't even getting paid. So first of all, you know what you paid me. Bubkis. You didn't pay me like a normal person. And then you know what I did for you. So here on one hand, what I got paid. And then on the other hand, you know how hard I worked. The Sefarno says something very interesting. You know, people say, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Have you heard that people say? There's truth to it. Like, you want success, work hard. Doesn't mean hard work always brings success. No, it doesn't mean that. But Yaakov says, what do you think? This is like a game of Iraqi roulette over here? Yeah, I just happened to show up and things just happened to work. He says, I've been working my tuchas off, I really worked very hard for you. And that's why he emphasizes, avadaticha. And Radak says something fascinating. Yaakov emphasizes his integrity. He says to Lavan, who's a thief and a charlatan, do you know where all this bracha comes from? He said, it comes from honesty. You don't have any of that. He said, because I was honest. Because I was a person who worked with integrity. I took my responsibility seriously. He says, That's why we're successful. It was the methodology that I used that brought the success. Ramban says that the redundancy is Es Asher Avadaticha ve'es Asher Haya Mikdacha Iti. He says that I took the sheep for long stints at a time. You didn't even hear from me. It's like you hire a worker, he doesn't kvetch all day. That's pretty good. He just does the work. Long periods of time I took all these sheep. And now the pasuk spells it out. You had some very, very few sheep before. And literally, things have exploded. Things are going amazing now. Yaakov is not being humble now. He's telling him right how it is. Hashem has blessed you l'ragli for my arrival, by my footsteps. And now I got to make a living for myself too. I made you into a rich man, Laban. Don't you think I deserve to make myself some kind of remuneration? I should build my own portfolio. He doesn't say exactly what he wants. It's interesting. He goes in circles. It's human nature, especially for a Yid. So Lavan says again, so what do you want? So Yaakov starts to hem and haw. Well, don't give me anything. Just give me this and just give me that. And the reading unfolds into one of the most remarkable, mysterious, and least understood readings in the entirety of the Chumash. A business with speckled sheep and spotted sheep and ringed sheep. But if you read the newspaper this week, you'll see Jacob's sheep in Israel with speckles and spots and rings. It's like 4 horns, 6 horns. It's wild stuff. It's like really unbelievable. This is what's in the newspaper and it's in the Chumash at the same time. So we'll talk more about that on Shabbos. You won't have to guess what I'm going to speak about the Shabbos. It's a no-brainer. But we're going to talk about the blessing that came to Lavan. So Ma'ata Shel Hoyelecha Lefanai. The Oitzer HaMedrashim says like this: Hashem wanted Lavan, who was a big ganef, a big liar and cheater. He wanted him to respect Yaakov. He wanted him to appreciate Yaakov. So Hashem tries to make it easier for us, even though we end up in difficult circumstances, and Yaakov definitely had a difficult set of circumstances handed to him. Nonetheless, Hashem wants to make it easier for him. So Hashem arranges, as only God can, that Lavan's sheep should be decimated by pestilence. By the time Yaakov comes there, all he's got is a few sickly sheep. And then all of a sudden, Yaakov gets to work. And now he doesn't have a few sickly sheep. Now he has enormous herds. And Yaakov is not feeling very sheepish about this. He's like, you know what I did for you? You remember how things were? This is a matter of public record. And now how are things? Vayifritz. What does it mean, Vayifritz? We heard this word before. Where did we hear the word Vayifritz? Ufaratzta. So Rashi doesn't even say anything here because it's self-understood. The Targum says nischazek, strengthened, gathered strength, a surge. Ramban says, what does that mean practically speaking? The sheep were lifting weights. What does it mean that there was a surge? He says that there was a multiplication that was just not natural. It was an unnatural proliferation. Rabbeinu Bechaya, building on the Medrash Rabbah, says something which is absolutely stunning. How many sheep did Yaakov get from Lavan? Do you want to take a guess? How many sheep? He got 70 sheep. He got 70 sheep from Lavan. And now how many sheep were there? Take a guess.
600,000.
600,000. How do we know this? So the Medrash Rabbah says, you know, ki ma'at asher haya lecha. Use the word ma'at, very few. Okay, dial back to your Pesach memories. When we talk about the story, what do we say about the Jewish people who came into Mitzrayim with very small numbers? Ki ma'at, we say b'msei ma'at, same word. Ma'at, b'msei ma'at, few. And then it says, vayifritz. The same word that's used over here. The same memayin tes in the Haggadah, vayifritz l'roiv. Exactly the same words. the Jewish people, Vayifritz Ma'id.
Were these military age sheep?
Military sheep.
Military age sheep between 20 and 60?
Number 20 and 60,
There
no.
was 3 million sheep.
Yeah, so Rabbeinu Bechaya says there is an opinion that there was 120 or 1.2 million. So it wasn't just 600,000, but actually
Wasn't counting the
1.2 million. So really, these numbers kind of add up, and it's really, really phenomenal that we hear that the sheep are a paradigm for the Jewish people, foreshadowing the Jewish people. And interestingly enough, the sheep, we are called Noheg Katson Yosef, sheep of Joseph. What precedes this conversation? The birth of Yosef.
Yes.
It's really amazing. You know how many sheep came to Israel now with this new Jacob sheep transport? That's been for months and months fighting with the government. 119 sheep. It's really interesting because Psalm 119 finishes with the words Te'isikase Ovid. I'm like a lost sheep. Baka shavdecha k'mitzvasecha le'shechachti. And that's exactly what Yaakov Avinu says when he comes back to Lavan. He says, "In Lavan garti, but tayag mitzvahs le'shamarti." I didn't forget the Torah. It's exactly the same. Really interesting. So this is the story of the sheep and the story of the blessings. But we didn't really hear the story of the blessings. The blessings come all on behalf of Yaakov. Let's take a look in Rashi, and then we'll go to some beauty. Leragli. Leragli means literally to my feet. So Rashi says it means im ragli, with my feet. Bishvil bias ragli. That means because I came, because I arrived. And obviously people arrive on their feet, they don't walk on their heads. So that's why it uses the word feet. Bishvil bias ragli ba'os etzlecha bracha. That's where the blessing arrived to you. Kimoi. Where do we see an example of this? Later on in the book of Shemos, it says, Hashem speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu about the people, ha'om asher b'raglecha, the people that are in your feet. La'om asher b'ragli. Or later, far later, in Parsha Shoftim, it says, the nation that are in my feet. In other words, that means haba'im imi, those who come with me. So l'ragli means those who come with me. Yaakov says the bracha was l'ragli. The bracha came with me. It arrived with me. It walked in together with me. And now, gam anochi lebeisi, l'tzayrich beisi, I have to make for my own house. Achshav ein eisen l'tzarchi ela bonai. My sons have been working. They've been working hard. They've been building the family wealth, the family portfolio. But v'tzarich ani la'aseisa. I have to do liyes eisa. Gam imam l'samchon. I got to help them. I got little kids over there. The little kids are slaving away. That's not fair. I mean, these are your grandchildren. And that's the word gam. That's gam on it. Was gam also? What's the also? The also, Rashi says, is because Yaakov's sons already had started building the family portfolio. They started building the family wealth. But he says, now gam, I need to be there also. It's not fair. Can't put it in the hands of a few kids, even though they're remarkable kids. So how much of a blessing did he actually get, Lavan? How much was the blessing? So with regard to this, let's take a look in the Burim book on page Ayin Zayin, Siman Lamed. Al bracha zu shenizbarich Lavan. With regard to this blessing that Lavan received b'zechus Yaakov in the merit of our father Jacob, Metzinu Bazar, we find in the Zohar, in its commentary on this week's Torah portion, shtei deis. There's two opinions. L'deya achas, according to one opinion, hamavuseses al pasuk zeh, that opinion is directly built on what says in this pasuk. It says, "Vayevarcheni Hashem biglalecha." Hashem has blessed me because of you. So the Zohar says, "Noisfu leLavan." There was added to Lavan midei chodesh by every month. B'schus Yaakov, in the merit of Yaakov, meyatzon. His flock grew by 100 sheep a month. It's very impressive growth. Ve'ilu l'deya ha'acheres, according to another opinion, Lavan's sheep indeed grew, but far greater, tenfold. Hamisper haya elef, not 100, but 1,000. V'hadavar nilmad medivrei Yaakov. The second opinion derives its basis from the words of Yaakov himself, not from the words of Lavan. That Yaakov says, Ki ma'at asher hayu l'chol lefanai, the few you had before, vayifreitz l'roiv. Growth was explosive. There was an extraordinary proliferation. L'roiv. Vayivarech Hashem oischa l'ragli, God blessed you by virtue of my arrival, with my arrival. Shekain, says the second opinion, birchasei shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the blessing of God, ein pchusa me'elef, is never less than 1,000. That's how God's blessing comes. God's blessings come in the number of 1,000. The Rabbi here quotes the actual Aramaic terminology, birchasa de le'ela lav iu pachas me'elef. Supernal blessings don't come in syntaxes smaller than 1,000. That's the envelope for the divine blessing. So on one hand, we have this idea that Lavan says, "Vayivacheni Hashem biglalecha." Hashem blessed me because of you. What does it mean? He blessed me because of you. Says the Zohar, 100 sheep. Conversely, Yaakov saying that you had so few. There was incredible blessing. Vayivarech Hashem. Hashem blessed. That's talking about 1,000. Now that's a big difference. 100 a month or 1,000 a month. According to the first, 100 a month means the sheep grew by a flock of 100 a month is 1,200 sheep. But if it was 1,000 a month, it's 120,000 sheep. That's an enormous difference in the course of a year. And this is every month. Now you figure that math, 14 years. The Rebbe says this has to be understood. The second opinion says the reason that we say that it was 1,000, we use such extraordinary numbers, we talk about such a remarkable proliferation, that's because it's Bereshis Hashem. It's Hashem's blessings. Hashem's blessings don't come in small packages. When Hashem blesses, that's off the charts. Like it says, it brought down that Elef, 1,000, is for the terminology Pele, a wonder. So 1,000 is Hashem's blessing. So the Rebbe says, 1 second, but the first opinion also says Bereshis Hashem. Because it says Vayivarcheni Hashem biglalecha. The first opinion is based on Lavan's words, but Vayivarcheni Hashem. Now, if it's a blessing of Hashem, im achin birchasa de le'ela lav iu pachas me'elef, if in fact it is so that the blessings that come from Hashem don't come in numbers smaller than 1,000, Keitzad is Baruch Lavan Ag b'meya, then how did Lavan only get 100? Lavan should have 1,000. I mean, if that's an accurate statement that the brachas of Hashem are always going to come in the number of 1,000 to the tune of 1,000, then the first opinion also talks about the brachas of Hashem. If it's a first opinion of the brachas of Hashem, then the blessing, according to all opinions, should have been not 100, but rather 1,000. That's question number one. Question number two: what is the difference in the verbiage that's used? The teaching is extrapolated from the biblical verbiage. The first opinion that says it was 100 sheep is based on the idea of V'yivarcheni Hashem biglalecha. God blessed me because, through you, because of you. So how does that only end up being 100? Conversely, the second opinion is Vayivarech Hashem oischa l'ragli. Hashem blessed you by my coming. The second opinion, and they say, oh, if Hashem blessed you, that must be 1,000. I mean, in both cases, what's the difference? One is Lavan acknowledging it, and one is Yaakov acknowledging it. So when Lavan acknowledges it's 100, and when Father Jacob acknowledges it, it's 1,000.
Well, the first is not a blessing of Lavan, it's a blessing of Yaakov.
They're both blessings of Yaakov. They're blessings that come in the merit of Yaakov. They're not coming in the merit of Lavan.
The merit of, but is it a blessing in the merit of direct to Lavan, or is it...
So this is going to be the linchpin. This is going to be the key, as you'll see. Very good. Habir Bazeh, the explanation. Habracha shechala b'tzoyin Lavan. The blessing that manifested itself in the flocks of Lavan, B'zuchus Yaakov, in the merit of a father Jacob, Nitenes lehisparish b'shnei efanim, can be explained, can be understood really in two ways. Method A is Habracha nitenes milechatchila l'Lavan. The blessing is given directly to Lavan. Well, the question is, by virtue or dint of what did Lavan get blessed? How did he earn that blessing? And the answer is, he's not honest, he's not nice, he's not spiritually minded, he's not close to Hashem. So by virtue of what did he get that blessing? And the answer is, B'zuchus shel Yaakov. It's in the merit of Yaakov. In other words, Yaakov mishamesh kegorem. Father Jacob, he is the catalyst. He is what causes Nesinas HaBracha. Achu eini makar shela. It's not the blessing from Yaakov. Yaakov causes the blessing. The blessing from Hashem, and the blessing is going directly to Lavan. It's only that Yaakov catalyzes that process. Number two, Yaakov is not just a gorem. Yaakov is not just the cause of blessing. Shechala b'tzon Lavan, which manifested itself in the sheep, in the flocks of Lavan. Elohu atzmai hamakar libracha. He is the well of blessings. He's the source of blessings. Yaakov is the source of these blessings. The Lavan zeicha, Lavan merits libracha mitoch bechassid shel Yaakov atzma, because Yaakov is blessed, and Yaakov happens to find himself in the middle of Lavan's sheep. So if Yaakov is blessed, invariably, what happens to the rest of the sheep? All the flocks are blessed. Why? Not because Lavan is blessed. Yaakov is blessed. He's not merely something, an agent or a mechanism that catalyzes blessing. He is the source of the blessing. So when Yaakov is blessed, that blessing flows over, and the sheep of Lavan are all blessed as well.
Like Yitzchak and the Philistine.
We'll soon see if it's like Yitzchak. So this is the Hevdel then. This is maybe the difference, says the Rebbe, between the two opinions. Hadei Arishayna, the first opinion, Mivuseses al Divrei Lavan. It's based on the words of Lavan. What was Lavan's words? Vayivarcheni Hashem biglolecha. God blessed. Vayivarcheni, God blessed me biglolecha, because of you. Mashma'usa misha Hashem beirech yeshiris es Lavan. God blesses Lavan. Yivarcheni. It's the nun yud at the end of the word bracha. Vayivarcheni. He blessed me, Lavan says. I'm blessed. I got blessed. I know why I got blessed. It's biglolecha, but I got blessed. Yaakov Shimeshak Geirem. Yaakov is only a cause. He's big lalecha. It's because of him. So according to this opinion, the bracha that Lavan got, it's a Labanite bracha. Labanite brachas are not so amazing. It's a Lavan bracha. So what does Lavan's bracha look like? 100. Still amazing growth, but...
But if it's a direct bracha to him from Hashem, it should be 1,000.
No, but that doesn't work like that. Because the idea of Birchasa Deli'ela, this principle that the Zohar invokes, that blessings from on high, la v'iyu pachas me'elef, they don't come less than 1,000. He shabracha, he bracha plois. That's when you have a bracha which is wondrous. In Hebrew, the word pella means a wonder, wondrous. It's like, wow, a wow blessing. So when there's a wow factor, that's me'al lemigbeles ha'olam haragilis. This is totally what we call off the charts. It breaks the bank. It's beyond the syntax, the framework, the normative kind of counting for a blessing. This is elef, which is Isias Pella. Elef, the word elef, 1,000, comes to the same terminology as a wonder, like it says in Tikkun Zohar. V'lachein, kol klal zeh chal rak al bracha nitenes liyehudi. This is what we call, in the vernacular, Yiddish brachas. Yiddish brachas. Brachas that come to Yidden are off the charts. They break statistics, because we break statistics. The Jewish people, our existence makes no sense whatsoever. Our success makes no sense whatsoever. You can explain how we do so well and sometimes how we do so bad. We just don't fit onto the charts. There's a story they tell, and I believe it's real, that there was a class in the military academy at West Point, and they were studying different modern battles. And one of the cadets said, how come we're not studying the 6-Day War? That's a modern battle. And the general says, because we don't understand it. We can't learn its lessons. And there's a funny joke that they say that this Russian general was addressing his underlings, and he said, numbers are not what it's about anymore. He said, why? Look at Israel. At that time, there were just like 4 million, just 4 million Jews, and they were able to stave off 400 million Arabs. So the young lieutenant says, but do we have 4 million Jews? There's Yiddish brachas. And Yiddish brachas don't fit. They're not conformist blessings. They're beyond. Why? The Yid makes no sense. The Yid doesn't fit into the chart. So if a Yid doesn't fit in the chart, why should his blessings fit in the chart? The answer is they don't. Lavan lumazais, but Lavan is not he's not a member of the tribe. He may be the Zaidi of the tribes, but he's not a member of the tribe. He couldn't get this bracha. He's not part of it. He got Lovanish blessings, Goyish blessings. He got blessings that came from a non-Jewish source. So his non-Jewish blessings were a number which is considered to be completion within the framework of normative reality. So the abacus works with what? With tens and hundreds. That's the first computing device. Right? So this is how it is. That's why we have a Mishnah that says that you have 5, the age of Mikra, then the age of Talmud, then the age of marriage, and the age of strength, and the age of wisdom, and all these things. Then we get part of the Pirkei Avos, Ben Meya, you reach the age of 100. Ki'ilu meis v'avar batel min ha'olam. You're good as dead. It's as if you're gone from this world. What a nice thing to say to people on the 100th birthday. Mazel tov. Ki'ilu meis v'avar batel min ha'olam. Right, so I know what do you tell you a Yid on his 120th birthday? Have a good day. Have a nice day. But that's 120. You guys have 20 years to live, and you say, "Oh, meis batel min ha'olam." I mean, I know people live to 100. I had great grandmother lived to 105. What are you supposed to say? Hey, Bubby, you're kind of like walking dead, you know? Oh, thank you very much. So the Rebbe explains the pshat is, after 100, you're really you've done your job here on earth. You're living in a higher headspace. When you find somebody that's 100 years old, asking for a bracha, they're really living beyond. It's like you finished your task here in this world. So this world is comprised, in its full completion, of 100. The world is created in 10 utterances. Each of the 10 is comprised of 10. 10 times 10, 100. That's the world. That's the framework of limitation. That's the frame of common or normal or everyday existence. It's not the miraculous. Elef is Pella. Elef is miracles. That's wonders. Miracles or wonders don't have to fit into a frame, a box. It's beyond. So the first opinion is Lavan's bracha. Lavan's bracha, it's like when everything works, which it never does. People use the euphemism Murphy. Right? If only everything would be great if not for Murphy. You cannot have a plan. Everything has to work exactly with no contingencies. Because there's never such a thing. What happens if somebody would have a plan that's filled with tiny nuances and extremely difficult details and everything works exactly as it should, exactly when it should? What would you call that?
Good luck.
You call that gebenched. It's blessed. It's remarkable. I had a remarkable bracha today. Everything worked. But that's still a bracha. Why shouldn't it work? Why shouldn't this plane take off and land exactly when it was supposed to? And why shouldn't I be able to run from one gate to the next? Why? Because we like to leave an hour and a half in between. Why? Why stuff happens? Stuff happens. Why should it happen? I don't know. Stuff happens. Statistically, stuff happens. It's just the way it is. Nothing always happens right. And what happens when everything just goes? It's an amazing bracha. I had a bracha today. But that's still within the frame of normative existence. And then there's the blessing of Hashem that is entirely transcendent of the normal rhyme and reason, law and order. Something that is beyond nature altogether. That's the second opinion. It's not Lavan saying, Vayevarcheni, Hashem bless me. It's Yaakov saying, Vayevarechecha, Hashem oischa leragli. Yes, you got a blessing. It arrived with me. You didn't get blessed. You happened to be in the right place. I came. I brought the blessing. Lavan didn't get a bracha nefred as a separate blessing. He got the bracha of Yaakov. Bo'o shel Yaakov. Why did he have blessing? Because Yaakov was there. Before Yaakov came, there was no blessing. When was the blessing? When Yaakov was there. Take Yaakov out of the equation? No blessing. That's what Lavan doesn't want to take Yaakov out of the equation. He says, how do I keep you here? He wants to lock him up. He doesn't want to let him go. L'ragli, like Rashi says, bias ragli, my arrival. I walked in along with my arrival. I came in, the blessing came together with me. Therefore, my friends, according to this opinion, just like the bracha of Yaakov was me'al hagbalas ha'olam, Yaakov is the person who goes beyond. Birchas Yaakov Avicha, like we say in our Kiddush, which is beyond. It's Bamas Hayoretz, riding on the heights, going entirely beyond. Now it's Yaakov's bracha. Yaakov is just getting love, and love is getting Yaakov's bracha. He's just breathing secondhand smoke. It's Yaakov's bracha. It's not Lavan's bracha. Well, if it's Yaakov's bracha, Yaakov doesn't have to fit in the charts. Yeah, he's a Yiddish boy. The Yiddish boy is getting brachas that are mi'alim migdal Yisrael, beyond the normative frame of reality. Davar HaMizbata, what number represents a leap beyond the charts, transcendent of rhyme and reason, of the natural laws? What number is that? That's the number Elef. So if Meah represents perfection, a fully developed reality, every nuance is fully activated, that's when we talk about the concept of Meah. That's Teva, that's nature. Beyond nature, the number that represents that is 1,000 Elef. And this itself, the Rebbe says we could learn by analyzing the words of the Zohar very precisely. L'shein HaZohar, the language of the Zohar is that Lavan Ashkach Begina de Yaakov Meah. Lavan received on account of Yaakov 100. In other words, Lavan Ashkach Beginei, he received this blessing. Lavan Ushamatzas Bracha. Ela Shabracha Zuba Begina Shel Yaakov. The blessing came because of Yaakov, but who got the bracha? Lavan got the bracha. He downloaded the software. He hot synced off the other of Yaakov's, but he was hot syncing off, but he got it. He was just it was a bracha of love in himself, but Yaakov was only a goyim. Yaakov only caused it. The second opinion is Elef. It says Havei Maisi le Yaakov. Yaakov brought him. Yaakov brought him the bracha. In other words, whose bracha was it? It's Yaakov. Yaakov brought him his bracha. And according to this blessing, it's not Lavan's bracha, it's Yaakov's bracha. And that's why it turned out to be 1,000. So now you know about the blessing of Jacob's sheep. And on Shabbos, talk about Jacob's sheep and the big lesson. L'chaim.
Chaim.